you've been missing all these years. Call Clear Choice today.
Welcome back to Squawk on the Street. I'm Jackie DeAngelis. Take a look at shares of 3M pressuring the Dow today. Morgan Stanley downgrading the stock to underweight from equal weight, citing valuation, expectations for lagging organic growth, and also a buyback reduction. Its price target right now, $122 a share. You can see we're at 130.11 right now, down 2.5%. Back to you, Simon.
Thank you very much, Jackie. It's over 5 years now since the housing crisis began and the U.S. Treasury took over Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and, of course, pledged hundreds of billions of dollars to stabilize them. Looking back, what have we learnt and what reforms still need to be made now? Timothy Howard is the former CFO of Fannie Mae and the author of a new book, Mortgage Wars Inside Fannie Mae, Big Money Politics and the Collapse of the American Dream. Good morning.
Good morning.
Up until now, of course, you've been gagged. You haven't been able to speak because of the court cases that were going through. What does this book now tell us that we didn't know before?
Well, I think the main thing that's new about the book is that I try and explain that the mortgage crisis was a result of a fight between Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and its supporters and banks and their regulators over control of what at the time was the largest credit market in the world, the mortgage market. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac had been the major sources of financing in that market. Large banks and their regulators, for different reasons, thought that was not the best way to finance mortgages. So they set out to replace Fannie and Freddie with private market lending mechanisms. And the result, as I explain in the book, went in a way that nobody anticipated. And it ended up taking all of the participants down at the end.
You do admit, though, in the book, and I haven't read it, we're only going from reviews so far, that you admit, I believe, that you were too slow to realize the growth and the size of the portfolio and the over-reliance on derivatives. You do, there is a mea culpa in there.
Not for the mortgage crisis. I was managing Fannie Mae's on-balance sheet business that took interest rate risk. What ended up going wrong was credit risk. On the credit risk side, Fannie Mae did extremely well throughout the time I was there, which ended in 2004.
And what do you say about that? How do you feel about the Bush administration forcing you out, suggesting that you'd mishandled the new rules on mortgage-backed securities?
Well, it wasn't so much the Bush administration. It was Fannie Mae's regulator at the time who said that we committed deliberate accounting fraud, which after 8 years of reviewing of 67 million pages of documents and interviewing over 100 witnesses, a federal district court judge found that that had been completely invented. And once that ruling was made last year...
You said it was not proven.
Correct. There were no evidence to support the claims.
But that had the effect of giving the opening that the private securitization market wanted of taking more and more market share.
Now, actually, private securitization took over before Mr. Raines, Frank Raines, the chairman of Fannie Mae, and I were forced out. It actually happened in the second half of 2004.
But market share-wise, it grew and grew through 04, 05,
it grew,
06.
It grew very rapidly from the beginning of 2003 to the end of 2004 in terms of market share purposes. It then stabilized for the next 3 years. And the fact that you had these private securities where you could have participants in the process, whether it was brokers, lenders, rating agencies, Wall Street issuers, all able to make money off mortgages, even if they weren't repaid, that's what caused the drop in lending standards.
Which Fannie Mae and Freddie then chased after. I mean, one of the key things is they made a fateful decision, didn't they, that, okay, we're going to play that game, we're not going to walk away from it, and we're going to lower our standards as well to compete.
They did very late in the game, starting around 2006. And
when the worst mortgages were being made, by the way.
The timing was terrible, but still, if you look at what happened after the fact, Fannie Mae's loss rate, the rate of mortgages that went bad, was only about half that of the banks and a quarter of the loss rate in private label securities. So that's reflective of the fact that they did get in late.
Now we're left with Mel Watt and whether or not he'll be confirmed to oversee Fannie and Freddie. Does the right regulator now change the game, make you sleep easier? How much risk do you think is left in the system?
Well, I think a regulator will play an important role in deciding how to reform the system. Right now, the current consensus on mortgage reform is let's do away with Fannie and Freddie and replace it with private market mechanisms. And the point of my book is, wait a minute, that's exactly what happened starting in the late 1990s, early 2000s, and that's what produced the crisis. So we need to understand what happened in the crisis so that the reforms we make actually work and don't repeat an outcome that none of us want, whether it's financial institutions or home buyers or economists.
There is some very big money, Bill Ackman, Bruce Berkowitz, Richard Perry, who are buying up the 20% of the common stock that was left on the table when the government put them into conservatorship way back.
And the preferred as well.
There is a belief amongst them that the Treasury cannot unilaterally say that moving forward, they get 100% of the proceeds when there is this common stock still outstanding. What is your view? You obviously know the technical picture very well. Do you think they'll win?
Yeah, that's more of a legal question. It has to do with whether Treasury and Fannie Mae's current regulator were right to amend the terms of the preferred stock agreement made in 2008.
What do you hear? Do you hear that they're able to do that? Do you hear that they could win?
I hear that they can win.
That's big news. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're quite welcome. My pleasure.
Black Friday is over, and the first read for the shopper spending season is not good. Can Cyber Monday save retailers? Our experts will weigh in on that after this break.
Why go with SuperTrade Pro Elite 5000? Bigger charts, more spinning numbers, more graphs in more colors, and inexplicable pyrotechnics.